Ida for giving my stepdaughter anything she wants after she goes to her mom's house? I have a 10-year-old stepdaughter, Harper. I have been in Harper's life since she was 2 and I love this little girl more than anything. My husband and I have Harper Saturday afternoon Thursday. Her mom picks her up from school on Friday and has her until 12 p.m. Saturday. Harper's mom is a vindictive bitch. Harper hates going to her mom's house and no matter how many times we've tried, we can't get her custody reduced. In March Harper made a picture frame at school and was asked to bring in a family picture. Harper's mom sent in a picture of herself and we sent in a picture of the 3 of us. Harper used the one with the 3 of us and the frame was sent home on a Friday. Harper's mom was so mad that she didn't use the picture of herself that she broke the frame in front of Harper. Now she will make Harper go to her house every Friday but she won't talk to Harper or touch her. She pretends like she's not there. This destroys Harper. When she gets home she always finds me and will hold on to me for the rest of the day. She even refuses to eat or speak. She usually speaks or communicates in other ways by Sunday, so if she says she wants something I get it for her, whether it's a big Lego set that she's been wanting, a new dress, a mani-pedi, etc. she always gets it. My husband told me to stop spoiling Harper after she spends the night at her mom's house. He said I can sleep in her room or make her a special breakfast or paint her nails at home, but a $100 Lego set, some $20 dresses, going out to eat, and mani-pedis are too much. Just for reference, our houses and cars are completely paid off and we have a combined yearly income of $560K. We can easily afford it. I think she deserves it after going to her mom's house, but he thinks she's going to end up spoiled and expect this anytime something unpleasant happens. Ida for spoiling her after she goes to her mom's house? Ida for making my daughter shower in PE? Throwaway account for personal reasons. I, F45, have a 14-year-old daughter, who I'll call Michaela. Michaela has barely hit puberty and is less developed than the majority of her peers, which I believe is something she is self-conscious about. Last week, my husband and I received an email from Michaela's school saying that because it was approaching the summer, it would now be mandatory for all students to shower after PE. I understand the logic. Michaela does PE before lunch and if she doesn't shower, she'll be sweaty for the rest of the day, which I don't believe is hygienic. The school requested that we pack a towel and any shower gel for the next PE lessons to ensure the students were ready. When I mentioned this to Michaela, she said she would refuse to shower. Since the showers are communal, she told me she did not want to be naked in front of everyone else and would just get dressed. I told her she couldn't do this as the school were enforcing it, plus I felt it was healthy for her to shower. Again, she asked me to email the school to say she wouldn't be participating, but I refused to do so. On Friday, despite many protests, I managed to make Michaela go to school with her towel/shower stuff packed. I felt like I was doing the right thing. However, when Michaela got home, she'd been crying all day saying how she'd had to get naked in front of everyone to shower and she'd never been so embarrassed because she saw 1 or 2 of the girls laughing at her. I told her how sorry I was and that teenage girls are horrible and that she's beautiful, but for hygiene reasons, she still has to shower. I suggested bringing in a swimming costume to wear to shower in, but she said that would bring even more attention to her. She begged me to email to school to not let her shower, but I said I had no good reason to, and I'm sure all of the other girls feel the same. She told me she hated me and has barely spoken to me the rest of this weekend. My husband feels I should send an email as it doesn't hurt and Michaela is clearly bothered, but I don't think it's a big deal. She will eventually get over it, and it's important for hygiene reasons. Ida? Ida for asking my biological mother why I'd help her and her kids? My biological mother didn't raise me. She let my dad raise me for the first 2 years on his own and then he passed away and my maternal grandparents took custody of me like my dad wanted and my grandparents became my parents but raised me to know about the loving dad I had. My grandparents were amazing and I feel lucky that they also loved my dad and respected him enough, despite him not being their son, to make sure I did grow up knowing he had wanted me even though their daughter/my biological mother didn't. I lost both my grandparents in the last 4 years. Grandpa died 4 years ago when I, 21M, was 17 and grandma died 8 months ago. I inherited the most from my grandparents. My aunts and uncles all inherited a small portion of their estate. My biological mother got smallest amount they could get away with giving her, which was like $5 lol. But I got the family home because I still lived here with grandma and I got a sizable amount of money. After my grandparents died my aunts and uncles got closer to my biological mother again and they became a family again and met her husband and kids. I wasn't a part of that. I have zero desire to know this woman or her family. She was never my mom. Nothing will change that. A couple of months ago she reached out and told me she and her family were struggling and asked for money. I ignored her and asked my aunts and uncles how she found me and they admitted they passed my info along. I told them I didn't like that. They said she's family whether I like it or not and at least I should be interested in helping her kids because they're my siblings. She asked for money again after that, but I still didn't reply. Then last week she contacted me again and said they needed a place to stay and she and her kids really needed my help. I asked her why I would help her and her kids when they're nothing but strangers to me. I told her to stop expecting me to take care of her. She called me names. Then she told my aunts and uncles and they went crazy on me. They said she's still my mom and I said she was a biological mother, a birth mother, but not a mom when it concerned me. They told me she was still my mom and her kids were my siblings and I should be there for them if not for her. They told me I shouldn't be a monster to them when I could help them. I told them if they wanted a relationship they could help her. They told me my question was meant to be nasty and nothing else. I was also told she was young when she had me and I should understand better. She was 25. She wasn't a teenager. Ida? Ida for not waiting for my wife at the next subway station after I got on the train, and the doors closed before she got on? So basically, wife and I were in a rush to catch our subway train to go to a brunch with my parents at our favorite restaurant. We were already 10 minutes late, and my parents are always super punctual and I didn't want to keep them waiting any longer for us. As we approach the escalator down to our subway platform, I can hear our train approaching. So, I tell my wife that we need to catch the train, and we both hurry down the escalator, me in front of her. When we got to the bottom, I heard the subway door chimes, indicating that the doors were about to close. So, I rushed into the train at the last moment, but my wife was left on the platform of the other side. I thought, okay, well this sucks that I made the train but my wife didn't. But it's not really a big deal because we both know exactly where we are going, and it's only 5 stops away. I will just meet her at the restaurant. I don't get any cell service underground, so we couldn't communicate with each other. So I arrive at the restaurant alone and greet my parents, who immediately question me about where my wife is. I told them what happened, and they didn't really seem to think much of it. But when she gets there 20 minutes later, she is all angry at me for not getting off the train at the next stop and waiting for her there, then getting on that train and continuing together. It made for a bit of an uncomfortable brunch, because we could all tell there was tension. After the brunch on our way home, she explained why she was mad and then became all short with me and pretty much gave me silence the rest of the way home. My position is that we both knew where we were going and she knew my parents are easily irritated when I arrive late, so why would I have gotten off the train to wait for her unnecessarily? AITA? AITA for refusing to pay for half of my ex-girlfriend's flight that she can't use because we broke up, and now possibly not even mine? My girlfriend, F24, and I, M25, broke up about 2 weeks ago. It was more her call than mine, but we both knew things weren't going well for a while. So, I was sad but not surprised. We ended things amicably and said we'd still be friends, whatever that means. Anyway, we did the exchange of things in each other's apartment a couple days after the breakup and then didn't talk again until 2 days ago when she texted me. We had been planning to go on a trip to the Canary Islands this year. The plane tickets were about $800 a piece and the Airbnb was like $1,600, so we decided I'd just pay for the Airbnb and she'd pay for the flights. The flights were non-refundable and were already past the date that I'd get any meaningful refund from the Airbnb, so I decided I'd just get a friend to split the Airbnb and go anyway. I had been planning on telling my ex that I'd pay her for my ticket so she didn't lose the money, but she texted me about it first. On Friday, she offered to pay me for the Airbnb minus the cost of my plane ticket, because she was still interested in going with a friend. I told her that I was actually planning on going with a friend, and I was going to pay her for my ticket and still go. She said okay, but I actually needed to pay her for my ticket and half of the cost of hers because she can't use it now. Basically, she says that she agreed to buy 2 plane tickets under the understanding that we would both go on the trip. And I agreed to pay for an Airbnb under the same understanding. But since that's not happening, we should evenly share the lost costs. Since I'm still using the room and my ticket, the only lost cost is her $800 ticket. And we should each bear $400 from that. I told her that I didn't think that's fair at all. First of all, it was her idea to break up. So the reason we aren't going is on her. Second, there's no reason why she can't use her ticket. She should just get an Airbnb and still go with her friend. I even said I'd sit in her friend's seat and let her friend in my seat so they can sit together. Whether or not she uses her ticket is on her, and she bears any cost of that. She said she didn't want to go at the same time as me and also the good Airbnbs are taken for that time. Anyway, we went back and forth and she even threatened to cancel the tickets even though she can't get any money back. So I said, you know what, go ahead cancel them, get whatever refund you can. I'll just buy my own ticket and not pay you back anything. She said, I'm not going to talk to you if you're being a dick. Let's talk about this later when you can be mature. That's where it is right now. My friends are divided. Most say I should at least pay her for my ticket, which I'm willing to do if she doesn't cancel it. But some say I should pay for half of hers as well. I'm sticking firm that I won't pay for half of her ticket, AITA? AITA for agreeing to split the bill on a double date which ended in my best friend being dumped? Hi. I, 22F, am really unsure here. My best friend and roommate, 22F, Amy had been seeing a guy for 2 months. She really likes him, it seemed to be going super well. Last night, she asked if I'd go along with a blind double date, her and the guy she's dating, me and one of his friends who is single and looking. I wasn't keen at first but she insisted, so I agreed. We got to the restaurant, just a nice place in our area, and things seemed to be going fine. The friend she was setting me up with was cool, but I really am not looking right now and didn't feel any kind of spark. We get to the end of dinner and the bill comes. Amy chimes in and says don't worry, our men have got this, to which I say back, no I don't mind. We'd had 2 cocktails each, all 4 of us, and it wasn't a crazy expensive place but not cheap. A bit of back and forth happened. Amy kept insisting it is always the gentlemen who pay, so I said something like, you do you, I'm happy to split. The guys were saying they would cover but both seemed uncomfortable. They paid, then we all left. Amy and her boyfriend went back to his. I said good night to his friend and went home alone. Later, Amy texted saying her man is now contemplating the relationship because he doesn't want someone who always insists the men pay. She told me I ruined it by offering to split and should have sided with her, and not made things worse. She's now saying he needs time and might not want to continue the relationship with her. AITA for this?